Okay. So hello everyone. Hi. So welcome to our platform tutorial class, right? So I think I wanted this class to like kind of be interactive and mm, will I say it's good or it's actually good. We have let me not say it's good, but it's actually nice. We have like fewer audience, but I'll just go ahead, right? So I'll like kind of be addressing until I see that there's more persons. So I'll be addressing Afram and Toby. Toby, can you hear me right? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually at work, so I may not be
Oh,
responsive, but I'm listening. Right?
okay. No problems. Yeah,
Okay.
no problems. So I'm just going to go ahead. Afram, so you guys have actually done a lot, right? I went through. Tony
Yeah.
shared this slide with me. You guys have done. Um, Actually, it takes like maybe 4 to 6 months to learn or like to actually procedurally learn all this stuff, right? But Tony squashed this whole stuff in 4 weeks. I don't know how he did it actually. So you guys have learned flow, DML, like data types,
Yes.
like practically um every algorithm. Oh, you guys, can you see my screen? What can you see?
I can see your slides.
Okay, cool. This is Tony's slide actually. So you guys have actually done a whole lot, and ideally, what we normally do in tutorials, or what I normally do in tutorials is I try to maybe work on what was taught, or maybe do the same thing Tony has taught. But actually, we've not had tutorials in a while, and I won't have enough time to go through everything he has taught. Okay, so he has gone through conditional flow statements. This is SOKL, DMLs, and other stuff, right? So I think I spoke with him and I kind of came up with like let me not call it another session, but it's just like a help session for everything he has taught. And we're just going to see how to use basically it's just like a how to program session, okay? But we're going to like kind of use DMLs, conditionals and loops. And if you have any questions, you can ask me questions on that. But I won't go into UI, right? I am aware he started UI recently.
Yes.
I won't go into UI. Maybe we're going to talk about UI next week. We're going to talk about Visual Force and LWC. I won't go into UI. I want to just focus on stuff you guys have done in the past 3 weeks. Okay, so let me just go. I have additional slides. Okay, so like again, I like writing. So let me create a blank sheet. You guys have done a lot, right? You guys have done DMLs, data types. Actually, let me just go up. You guys have done DMLs, data types.
Yes.
I saw testing, like actually very, very interesting. You guys have done tests and virtually everything, right? But the thing is, there's just one very important aspect about putting all this whole stuff together, okay? So I think before my HTML class or JavaScript class, I always try to let my students know that all these whole stuff, like they're just syntax, okay? So they're just all syntax. If you don't know how to solve problems, it's going to like you're going to find it very difficult putting all this stuff together. Okay, so maybe if you're interviewing, is good attending sessions that teaches data types, conditions, and I watched the sessions. And I'm very very happy you guys are asking questions and getting involved. It means you guys are understanding. Okay, it's good to attend sessions explaining all this, but if you kind of don't know how to like put everything together, you might not be able to solve problems. Okay, you might not be able to solve problems. So the goal of everything we've been teaching or everything Tony has taught is for you to be able to solve maybe a business problem or any problem thrown at you, right? So I just want to talk about like how to actually put all this stuff together. Okay, so it might be overwhelming to just from JavaScript just teach you functions, methods. This is a class. This is this is that. But if you've not had maybe any traditional programming background, you might not really know how to put all this stuff together. Okay, so today I just want to kind of I wanted to just like throw light about a little topic. Then we're going to go into some stuff I'll explain some things, and hopefully it's just going to help you easily put all this stuff together, and we're going to use it to work on some little examples I have below. I don't want to open them now, okay? So let me see. I think Michael is here also. Hi, Michael. Good evening. So,
hi, Sammy.
Hi, hello. So yeah, so map your mind, right? So it's actually very nice. I actually know let me see 3 to 4 programming languages, right? And it's also always not easy switching between them between the days, right? But the thing is, aside from the programming language, right, you have to know how to like actually think like a programmer. Okay, so programming is not programming is coding, programming is the syntax, programming are the languages, but actually at the very base, right, programming is actually, I don't know, there are so many definitions, or so many like definitions, but I feel programming is actually problem solving, right, with tools provided to you. Okay, so to me, or how I always explain it is, programming languages are like tools or syntax provided to you to like solve a particular problem. Okay, so when we get to pseudocode, you're going to see how we're going to like bring out a problem. I'm going to write a pseudocode, and you're going to see how we can use any programming language to solve the issue. Okay, so ideally, for you to become like a very good programmer, be confident in your craft, you need to be able to like think in a particular way and solve problems first before like you actually like implement all this stuff, right? So again, I'm not downplaying any of all these things. You actually, in fact, if you don't know them, you know this, whatever I want to talk about will not be of benefit to you. Okay? I'll just go ahead. So there are some little theoretical concepts. I know this stuff was supposed to come previously. I think the first time when Tony was talking about some explanation and theoretical stuff, right? But I'm just going to put it at this point. So like there's a way to think, or there's a way to solve problems, right? So in actual real world, maybe in the real world that's work, if you've done the admin, I think most of your assignments, most of your projects came as a document. Okay, so for example, maybe imagine company ABC, blah blah blah. We want company ABC to be able to do this, do that, do this, and do that. We want you to do this. In fact, you might not even say we want you to do that and do that, except you have like a project manager or a scrum master that just helps you break everything down and give you a task in explanatory words. Okay, but ideally, everything comes in problems, or maybe in a document or in words. Okay, so for you to be able to like maybe process your whole problem solving or think like a programmer, there are steps you should be able to take, or there are like processes you should be able to go through before actually jumping to writing code. So if you just give me 1 minute, let me open up my developer console. So there are steps you should be able to take, or there's some stuff you should have the ability to do before you just maybe jump into writing code. So imagine you were given a document like one of your Salesforce admin assignments, and excuse me, maybe you're given a document and the first thing you do is just open up your editor. For someone like maybe Tony, your instructor, and I think he did it most of the time during his session, he can actually just jump into the editor and just like start solving the problem. Or for someone like me, but ideally, you should just maybe basically know how to, either in your head or paper, try to solve the problem first before actually writing code. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, right? So this is not like a very hard rule. If you can maybe do all this ideation and like processes on paper with the tools and whatever I want to do, it's fine. Okay, so there are different like kind of tools to use to just like kind of ideate your process or solve or map your mind. Okay, so again, I'm talking about how to solve problems or problem solving. Okay, so the whole idea is you're not supposed to just jump into code. For example, I don't want to maybe start pulling the documents now. If you have a document, you want to break your whole document down. Do this. If this, do that, end or maybe start and stuff like that, okay? Starts and loop, break and stuff like we're going to see all this is called pseudocode. We're going to see how all this stuff work. Okay, so the first thing is flowchart. Okay, so flowchart is a bit self-descriptive. If you've not known, like we use flowcharts in programming, we actually do sometimes. Right? So it's just like a visual representation of like a workflow process. So I think I'm tempted to open one of the problems I have here right now. Okay, so it's just like a diagram, a visual diagram with different decisions and symbols to just denote how you want to solve a problem. So we can just create a sample problem when so updates. I think Tony did this one in one of his classes. So okay, let me use something practical I worked on last week. So I think I worked on something. So maybe let's say we want to send data from Salesforce to an external platform. Okay, so maybe you have your company's Salesforce is a bit limited, and even if it's not limited, right, you maybe sometimes you want to store data in your org and also send to a backup. I think this will be a little bit complex. You want to store data in your org and also send to a backup org, right? But let me just change it, right? So updates or create a task whenever an opportunity is created, right? So create a task whenever an opportunity is created. Okay, so this is a very, very, very basic scenario and is actually already broken down. Okay, so if you have like a very complex problem, you can use flowcharts to like maybe break the problem down without actually writing code first. And it's just going to help you easily write your code. In fact, most times if you use these tools, pseudocode and flowcharts and other ways to map your mind, it might even help you write code faster. Okay, so flowchart just helps you, like, it's just like a graphical representation of what you want to build. And I think flowcharts are mainly used for schema diagrams. Okay. So if I go to setup now, I go to schema diagram. Okay. So that might not be a flowchart, but it's just like an example of it, right? So if I go to schema builder, you're going to see something like this. I'm sure everyone, I think you already know this from admin actually. You're going to see something like this that just shows different objects and their relationships. Why is not showing relationships? Well, I want to just have accounts and contacts. Okay. So something like this. This is not actually a flowchart, but this is just also a graphical representation of what I'm talking about. So if I go to my next slide, I'll come back to pseudocode. If I go to my next slide, you're going to see something like this. Okay, so this is actually like a flowchart of a problem. Okay, so it just shows you graphical. I think mostly this is used when you need to present your idea or your process or your thought process to either your stakeholders or stuff. Like I said, right, there's no like very hard way to do this. You can do this with PowerPoint, but most times there are tools you just kind of use to do this. I think one is Throw.io. I think is the most easy one to use. Okay, so this is just like an example of a flowchart solving a problem. Just start by mere looking at this, right? It just tells you that I accidentally didn't add the problem it was trying to solve here. So we're just saying the program starts here. You input a number, initialize this, you can initialize int n copy equals to n. So this is just like how you initialize a variable. Excuse me. This is a loop. Is copy and is greater than 0 false, just print something and end. Then if it's true, print this, decrease by 1, and just continue the loop. We're going to look at this later. Okay, so this is just like a sample process of a flowchart. Okay, so the sweet thing about this now is this is not written in any language. It's written in what we call pseudocode. It's not English. It's not code, but it's just like a plain text representation of code. This can be converted to any programming language. We're going to get to that shortly. Okay, so again, this is just one way to ideate or just like kind of put your thought process before writing code. It always helps make it easier for you to write code. Okay, but most times people don't tend to use this, and I actually don't tend to use that because I'm not a very, very graphic person. I actually don't like too much graphics, right? So I tend to use pseudocode. Okay, pseudocode is like a simpler version of programming code in plain English. Okay, so basically what I just demonstrated here, right? So if you look at this now, you can actually read what is here. So I don't know if Tony has taught you guys methods, right? So this, let's just read through it, right? So this is a function. The function starts, it takes an input. I think this has Tony's, let me open one of the classes Tony used, or the classes you guys used in class. Okay. So you're going to contact control. So you're going to always see something like this, right? So this is a method, and it kind of collects or takes, I'm sure if you're here, you understand what these are, right? So these are parameters or arguments that are being passed into the method, okay? So if you go to this diagram, you're going to see that it's a function. It collects an input n, initializes a copy of inputs. Then if the n is greater than 0, if it's greater than 0, print this, then decrease n by 1, go back. So this is just like a while loop. If it's not greater than 0, just end the program. Okay, so this is just like pseudocode, but represented in flowcharts. Let me just like explain pseudocode, then we'll go to pseudocode, then I'll give some examples. So it's a simpler version of a programming code in plain English, okay? So something like this I just did now is an example of a pseudocode. So something like, oh, that stuff didn't stave. So it doesn't have strict syntax. It's not a programming language. It's just plain English. It's just you trying to break down a problem initially before solving it. So let me just try to do it again. So maybe you're given a problem, updates an opportunity when the account name is Black Force, okay? So your pseudocode might be something like this, right? So trigger on accounts. Just giving you an example. Loop through. So maybe we're just like kind of thinking this is you trying to break down your task or little program you want to build. I'm going to read out a practical example later. So loop through accounts in trigger trigger.new. You can do it like this, right? Or let me just say in trigger. If account's name is Black Force, then you can update opportunity, okay? Then I can just end because it didn't actually ask us to do anything. So this is just like, this looks a bit like this is just 4 or 5 lines because I came up with a very, very, very dummy examples. Like normally requirements are very, very long and you have to actually think and write your process down and check, oh, does the account object has this field? Then you now come back and check if the account doesn't. So it's just like some like to and fro up and down processes that you have to do to just create a pseudocode before you start writing code. Okay, so the good thing about this is if I actually do a comprehensive pseudocode, maybe save it in a document or save it in my like code base, I can actually translate. Okay, you guys might not have heard of microservices, right? I can actually translate whatever pseudocode I wrote to any programming language and actually execute it. Okay, so we're going to see that shortly. This is a dummy slide I created. I've seen this, okay? Okay, so pseudocode, again, pseudocode is just like a simpler version, just breaking down your problem into English like, or word like, what's it called? Step-by-step procedures, okay? So I already talked about all this, right? I already talked about all this whiteboarding and problem solving skills. So before we go into writing code, or maybe I'll let Afam speak or whoever wants to ask question, right? So if you're feeling overwhelmed, or if you think if you in fact you actually don't need to know it all, right? So it's not really about memorizing all the syntax and the methods and stuff like that. I'm very sure if you watched your sessions with Tony, right, sometimes he just goes to Salesforce documentation to get the actual methods and stuff. Okay, so you don't need to feel like you need to know anything, because like I don't think anyone knows everything. Okay, so it's just part of the process. So all you just need to know how to do is how to be able to solve problem. If you look at it from this angle, right? So if you know how to solve problems as a programmer, right? So maybe update opportunity, or maybe you say something like, let me show you something. Call maybe you just have an idea that you can have classes and methods. So you can say call method to update opportunity, right? Let me just give you an example of what I'm talking about. I'm just going to remove this update opportunity. So see what problem solving skills just help you to do. One part of problem solving skills is writing pseudocodes. Okay, so if you finish writing your pseudocodes, do you know if, for example, this is a very long or like very detailed line of pseudocode, not in any programming language, if I don't know the particular problem, the particular programming language, or the particular syntax of that programming language I want to solve the problem in, right? I can easily Google how to, okay, let's say this step is loop account in Trigger. I can easily Google how to loop account in Salesforce Trigger. This is even me trying to stress myself. ChatGPT can just do this easily, right? But let's just follow a process, okay? And I'm going to see a whole lot of code samples on how to do what I want to do, okay? So this just helps, can you see something like this? So this just helps you know that most time, code doesn't come first, okay? Most times you want to be able to solve a problem. You want to be able to break a problem down before you actually start writing code. Not everybody can write code, but it's actually a bit easy to write code, but it's harder to solve problems, okay? I've actually talked about all this stuff, and so I don't want to spend time on it. So let's just jump into solving like a very, very little problem. I actually have 3 or 4, but I started with a very, very easy one, okay? I am going to clear this guy. I actually solved this problem or did this in JavaScript. Let me see. Okay, we actually did this in our JavaScript, right? So this is like an example, right? It's not very, 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 very detailed. It's just like a very short example of maybe a task given to you. So write a program that prints each number from 1 to 20 on a new line. For each multiple of 3, print fees instead of the number. For each multiple of 5, print both instead of the number. And for numbers that are multiples of both 3 and 5, print fees bills instead of the number. Okay, so this is just like a very, very, very popular, we call them algorithm problems. Okay, so it's just like it appears in most software engineering interviews. I'm not sure if Salesforce interviews still does algorithm questions, right? But this is just all this kind of stuff are just like stuff that are thrown out to you to test your thinking and your logical. In fact, they are all problem-solving tests. Okay, so ideally, maybe in your real company, no one will be asking you to do a feasible challenge. But if you actually write code for this thing, you're going to see how it just kind of tries to make you think of how to solve like a very basic problem. Okay, so something like this now. I think this has happened to me twice, both last quarter and this quarter. I actually tried to just solve this in the code editor while I was in class, and I kind of jumped into some errors. Okay, but we're just going to try to write the pseudocode. I have the solution here, but I'm just going to try to okay, let me just show it and explain it again. This is a very, very, very common if you just Google Fizzbles, just a little Google of Fizzbles, challenge you see. Right? So Fizzle's challenge, you can get the solution in Python, you can get solution in JavaScript, Apex, and whatever, because it's very, very popular. Okay. So I just copied it from the internet. I didn't come up with it. So we're just going to try to maybe write a pseudocode for it. Then if I write the actual Apex code for it, you're going to see how it uses loops, conditionals, and all these other stuff you'll be learning, but it actually combines problem solving and helps you just think. Okay. Let me just open this up. And I wrote this and just screenshotted it because I actually wanted to get it correctly. I'm missing my tabs now. So I wrote this and actually screenshotted it. Okay. So if you see the problem, so this is, we don't even have much in the class. I will have asked everyone to solve this, right? So this is a problem, right? So it just tells you to write a program and preach each number from 1 to 20. Okay. So normally this is how maybe if I actually still do this is how I kind of read or solve problems, right? So write a problem that prints each number from 1 to 20. Okay. This statement alone tells you you're going to need a loop. Okay. So write a program that prints each. Once you see each, I'm just trying to this might not be how you solve your problem, or this might not be how every developer solve their problem. I'm just trying to show you like a practical way to approach stuff when you get tasks. Okay. So if you see each here, each number from 1 to 20, it just tells you that you're going to do something over and over and over again until you get to this particular number or the provided number. Okay. So if you see our pseudocode, we're going to have a loop. I'm going to rewrite it so you can see it. Then we're going to actually write the code. Okay. So we can either use a for loop and excuse me. The sweet part of it, right? I always say, the programming language is like a tool or like armor, like an armor given to you, right? So I won't even just write a loop. I'm just going to we have to use a loop, okay? But the thing is, we have different kinds of loop. We have the for loop, right? We have the while loop. I'm sure you guys have done all this stuff. We have the do while loop. I think these are the only three I can remember in Apex, right? So again, all you just need to know is, I have to do a loop. Then it's left for you to pick whatever type of loop you want to use based on the problem you're solving, okay? So remember, the language is just a tool. Your problem solving skills is the actual programming, okay? So let's just go to the next line, okay? So then if you look at the problem, right? Write a program that prints each number from 1 to 20. You're going to need a counter before we even get to the for each, right? You're going to need a counter. So you want to do something, you want to track the state, right? You want to do 1, 2, 3, because you're going to be checking for each of those numbers, okay? I'm just trying to break this stuff down. So set counter to 1. I'm just trying to rewrite it. So counter to 1, because the program says the question exercise says you print from 1 to 20, right? So set your counter to 1. There are different ways to do this, right? Actually, there's just one way to do this, just like create an integer. Okay. Then the next step, we're going to write all this step in code just shortly. Break when counter reaches 20. I think all of this stuff is actually still in the first line. Okay. So from each number from 1 to 20. Okay. So your program should just stop when counter gets to 20. Okay. So this is just like an example of like breaking your tags into breaking your tags into thoughts and writing pseudocode. We're going to write an Apex code for this shortly. Okay, so increment counter by 1. If you read the question again, excuse me. If you read the question again, write a program that prints each number from 1 to 20 on a new line for each multiple of 3. So for this, by reading this now, you just know, I'll have to check, for each multiple of 3 print fees instead of the number, for 5 print boosts, for numbers 3 and 5 print fees boosts. So you just have to know, I'll have to check number 1, number 2, number 3. So I have to check each and every one of the number. In fact, this word already tells you for each of them. Okay, so you just know you need to increment your counter. Okay, so increments And I think you can actually do this the other way around. Counter by 1. And there are actually engineering teams that there are engineering teams that actually require all this before you actually even submit a code request or like a solution to your task. Okay. So let's just write the actual pseudocode. We're just trying to write like comment. Let's just let's just write the actual pseudocode. Okay. So write a program that prints number 1 to 20 on the new line. For each multiple of 3, print fees instead of the number. For 5, print blues. For numbers that are multiples of 3 and 5, print fees blues. Okay. This is tricky. They put the 3 and 5 below, so you have it last in your condition. But from experience, I'm going to do this first, and I'm going to show you why later. Okay. So I'm just going to do this, right? So if I can say count, or I can say n. I can say, let me say number. Okay, if 15 modulus number is equals to 0, print if modulus number. Oh, okay, I think if 3 mod number equals to 0 and 5 mod number, I'm going to explain this shortly, equals to 0. Here's my 0 key. Print fees equals, okay. If 3 mod number equals to 0, print, what did they say we should print fees? Then if 5 mod number equals 0, print suppose, okay. Else, just print out the number. So it doesn't fall into any of our category. Okay, so before I explain this, let me see if I actually got it correctly. If 15 fees. Okay, 15 is actually a multiple of 3 and 5 on its own. So that was tricky. So let me just do this. Okay, so this is just like not a hard ruler, just a basic breakdown of our problem, right? Our problem wants us to replace numbers is divisible by, this is just like multiple stuff, okay? So this is where your problem solving and the little mathematical or logical skill that you're asked to be required of comes in, okay? So for you to get in programming, right, you need to know, let me see if Tony has it here. They are what we call operators, right? Let me see. I don't know if you guys did operators. Okay, I can't see it here, but I'm sure you guys did operators. By operators, I mean, there should be a time where Tony did equal to, greater than or equal to, plus, minus, let me see, plus equal to. I don't know if he taught you guys here or there was a time he did all this. There's a symbol in programming we call modules, okay? So what this just does is just, Afam, did you guys treat operators? Do you guys do operators?
Oh, yes, we did operators. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we did something similar. We made use of the equal to, equals equal when we're trying to search for doing some operations on checking maybe accounts objects, okay, if it's equal to maybe a specific value.
Variable,
so variable. So we did that.
So yes, I don't know if you guys got to the percentage sign.
No, we didn't do any mathematical operations, but we know there was something like that because it showed us the part we can read it up on the Salesforce documentation.
Yeah.
So he introduced it.
Cool. So there's a symbol we call modules. Okay. So if you read our problem, it just tells you this is where, let me not say it's tricky. This is where you're expected to just have a knack for solving problems. Okay. So it says print each number. Okay, for each multiple of 3, right? So from little mathematics, you know, a multiple of 3 means that the number has to be divisible by 3 without remainder. Okay, so this is just like the little definition. So multiple of 5 means the number has to be divisible by 5 without remainder. So 5, if 12 is not a multiple of 5 because it goes into 12 remaining 2, it won't work. So ideally, if you don't know like the tools you have, or you don't know like all the operators, or rather all the stuff provided by you, provided to you by the programming language, what's normally like what a normal person might come here and do is, let me not mess up our code. I'm just going to go down. A normal person might come if number, if let me see, number divided by 3 is equals 0. Then print this. What I'm trying to do is you actually have to start checking for 1, 2, 3 by yourself, right? You write if number divided by 3, if number divided by 2. You just have to be checking it by yourself, right? But the sweet part of all this stuff is there are some things that's already been done for you, right? By the programming language, right? So if I just Google Salesforce, it's not even actually a Salesforce thing, okay? Modulus operator, okay? I think it's in every programming language. Let me just show you what it does. I can actually show you what it does with JavaScript. Let me just open my console. I think this is a bit faster. Okay, so if I do, so again, if you don't know about this, your browser has like a JavaScript console. You can just actually directly run JavaScript code. Okay, so if I do 20 modulus, the operator is the percentage sign. Okay, so if you just put in the percentage sign, what it just means is divide 3 by 20 and give me the remainder. Okay, so if I do 20 divided by 3, it's just going to give me the actual answer, right? So 20 divided by 3 is 6.6.6. But whenever I use the modulo sign, it just gives you the remainder. Okay, so from this, you just know that 3 goes into 20 6 times. That is actually 18. Okay, but the remainder is 2. So it gives you the response, the remainder as the response. Okay, so if I do 15 modulus 5, the answer is going to be 0 because 5 goes into 15 3 times, but it doesn't care about the 3 times it goes. The only thing it returns is the remainder of the operation. Okay, so if I do one last one, 15 modulus 2, you're going to see that it returns 1 because 2 goes into 15 7 times, which is 14, but it doesn't care about the 7 or the how many times it goes. The only thing it returns is the remainder. Okay, so if you actually know all these operators or know what they do, there are a couple of them, you just know that it's a bit easier for you to solve your problem. So that was the reason why I just jumped ahead to use if number modulo 15. Okay, if number mod 15 equals 0. So if the particular number in our loop divided by 15, if 15 can go into the number without remainder, then it means it's a multiple of 3 and 5. This is just like not really a complex math problem. It's just like a tricky math problem, okay? But I just wanted to use this to show you how to just create these pseudocodes and actually solve it with code, okay? So let's just quickly go ahead. Okay. This is when we get to Apex, okay? Apex. So else print number print. So let's just actually write this in code, okay? So I want to loop. Okay, they say 1 to 20, right? So let's just do for loop. I've written JavaScript since morning, right? So Salesforce is integer for integer n equals 1 and is less than Okay, set counter to integer to 1, stop when counter gets to 20. So n is greater than, not greater than, actually less than or equal to 20. N plus. Okay, so what I'm just basically doing, right? So I'm actually reading my pseudocode and writing the code. Okay, so the first thing I need is a loop. Okay, in the loop, I need to set counter to 1. So that's why I did integer n equals 1. N can be anything. This is just a variable name. I'm sure you guys know that. So stop when counter gets to 20. If you read the question, you just see each number from 1 to 20. It should not get past more than 20, okay? So that's why when n is less than or equal to 20, we're going to stop. This is like, I'm sure you guys understand for loop, okay? So this is initialization, this is condition, this is incrementation, okay? So it initializes the variable, this is the condition for every run, then it increments the variable, okay? So increment counter by 1. I actually just defined my whole for loop with this pseudocode, okay? So it just makes it easier for you when writing code. So now, I might not even need to be reading this again. So if mode 15 equals 0, so let me just do, I can just jump into writing if statement, okay? So see the sweet thing about this. I can write this in JavaScript. I can write this in Python, and I can write this in Apex, okay? Why? Because I first of all try to solve the problem on paper or by using pseudocode, okay? So, but we're learning about, we're doing Apex. Let me just do it in Apex. So I'll just do if n modulus 15 equals 0, I'm going to use system.debug. Print is in C and Python and all those other languages. It's still print, but it's called debug here. Okay. Divisible. Okay. Let me see multiple of 3 and 5. Okay. Let me just n. Oh, I'm actually supposed to print out feasibles.
Exactly.
I'm going to come back to this feasibles. Okay. As if n modulus 3 equals 0, then I'm going to have to print fees, else if number modulus 5 equals 0, I'll have to print buzz, okay? Then else.
N. Just N.
Yeah, cool. So I'll print N. So basically, we've actually just tried to solve our problem from our pseudocode. Again, this is a very, very easy problem. Anyone, if you like maybe a good problem solver, I could have just done this without even trying to write pseudocode, but pseudocode is just like kind of good when you're trying to break down big problems. So let me just try to execute this and see if I have, if it's going to work. Okay. Let me see. So I've been writing JavaScript since morning. This. How do you write modulus in Apex? I don't think this is a symbol. Let me check. So I'm using JavaScript syntax. I feel I'm using JavaScript syntax.
Like it doesn't have.
Oh, wow. It doesn't have, so we'll have to change.
Okay, see what they wrote there. Result equals to math.mod xy.
I think, let me see. Let me go to Salesforce documentation.
That's strange. It's supposed to have.
I'm actually just hearing this for the first time. I haven't actually had the need for it. We learn every day. Please know my feelings, especially on divide. Let me see all their
operator.
There's no time to see. Okay. Add, subtract. It's supposed to be here, but it's not here. So Salesforce doesn't have the, what's it called?
The modulus.
Modulus operator. So there's a longer way to do that, but I'll have to write like 10 to 15 if else, if else, if else. Well, let me just look for another way to use. So let me try this. Hopefully it works. The good thing about Googling stuff. Zmat or system.mat. This is going to
wrote math.
Math.mod norm n 15. Try. Okay, so let me just try this. Okay, it actually worked.
Yeah.
So let me open everything and see. So smart.mod. Okay, so this should just work for us. So again, programming syntax. Okay, so I just jumped into thinking there was modulus here, but there wasn't. I think our stuff should work now. So we have one. One is not like a modulus or a multiple of any of them. So two, you just see that the program worked, right? So for where we're supposed to have three, there's fees. This is supposed to be 5, there's both. This is supposed to be 6, but it's a multiple of 3. So there's fees, 7, 8, 9 fees, 10 balls for 5. And we only have one fees bills because it's only 15. That is a multiple of both 3 and 5. If you increase the number, it's going to give you a different result. I think so. Okay. But I think when we did it in JavaScript, I was focused on the program, right? But right now, I'm not even much like focused on the program. I'm just focused on how showing you how you can just solve problems step by step before actually writing code. Okay, so we're going to do one more very, very, very detailed problem. But I want, Afam, do you have any question?
No.
Okay. So let me just do one more so we can just call it a day, okay? Create a trigger in Apex to automatically update the lead score field in Salesforce whenever a new lead is created or an existing lead is updated, okay? So again, this is, I think I generated this with a tool. This is another way to write pseudocode. Okay, so this is not Apex yet. It's just pseudocode. If you read this now, just say start the program or wherever I want to start. It's just like an entry point. Trigger fired on lead. In fact, if I just give this to you now, Afam, it's going to be easier for you to solve this problem rather than thinking from scratch because it's already been actually laid out in pseudocode. Okay, look through each lead record in trigger.new. You should know how to do that. So you can just maybe, for example, let me try. So you can just for it's lead, right? For lead. And trigger, this is how to write loops in Salesforce, right? So something like this, okay? So just this line of code will just tell you, oh, I need to write a loop, calculate lead score based on lead data, adjust lead score based on lead age, and set lead score on lead record, okay? So these are all mathematical operations that you're going to look at. But this is not the problem I wanted to solve, okay? Let me see, no? Just give me a minute, please. Okay. So Afam, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so let's just do one of this stuff so we can just kind of go. So I think I came up with this. I saw this somewhere online, right? There are more detailed ones, but I didn't want to have like very, very, very long documents here. Let me see which ones to pick up. I think Tony already did something like this, right? So you use a trigger whenever a condition on the account object meets a certain criteria, you do something either in the contacts object or whatever you want to do. This is quite easy if you've been following Tony's class. Let's try to do this, right? I haven't actually solved this, okay? So write an Apex solution that performs a bulk update of a custom object based on a certain criteria. We have a custom object product with the following fields: name, price, quantity, discount, total. Let me see. I think I was actually checking the product field. Let me see. The product object. If it doesn't exist, we'll just create a new object. Okay, it doesn't have all those fields.
This particular product, is it a standard object?
Yeah, it's a standard object. But I don't want to mess with it. We're just going to create it. Oh, yeah. It doesn't have all those stuff. There's name, but there's no. Let's just create a custom object. I'll call it Pro. Thoughts. Let me call it, what should we call it? Dunst clash.
Let's call it prod. PROD. Would understand that. Something
Okay,
short.
so
Simple.
no description open. Okay. I don't need all this stuff for now. I'll save. Then I'm not creating a pseudocode for this. So ideally, your pseudocode might want to like entail create the object, create these fields, and kind of break down your process. Okay. So I just want to solve the reason why I have this problem here. So these are the problems I had for pseudocode examples. But I don't want us to do that. I want us to do this because this is going to help us like maybe practice stuff you've learned, both SOQL and other stuff. Okay. So we have products objects with following fields. ID, it's already there, name is already there. We'll create price. Be currency, but let's use text. Don't want to have formatting issues now. So I'll name it price and just save. The next one is what?
Quantity.
Quantity. Quantity is supposed to be a number.
Number, yeah.
Y2 was supposed to be, if you don't want to use text, you can use number. So you can capture
I didn't want to use currency. We'll change it to number. I'll edit it. I'll edit it shortly. Let me see. Discounts. Discount is still number. And then we'll see, yeah, number, please.
And you can have.
You don't want to use the currency, you can also use number for discount too.
Yeah, I'm not using currency. I'll use number.
But we'd love you to use currency so that in case we are doing it and we get stuck, we'll know how to navigate our way.
Let me see. All these other data types normally have formatting issues. I always just enter dollar or automatically formatting the field currency I want this kind of so. This is just for formatting. It's still a number field, but what it just helps. What it just helps.
Yeah, it's still a number field.
Okay, let's use it. But discount actually, but discount. But discount is actually a number. Actually, maybe percentage.
Discount is percentage.
Okay, percentage.
Yeah, discount is percentage.
But it's still a number, but it's just the formatting. Let's use percentage. So let's go. For falling into issues, we're going to solve it together. And the last one is going to be total. Total is definitely a number. I'll choose currency. All these are actually prices, right? So all these are actually like money fields.
Yeah, it's total is actually currency.
Yeah, let's use currency. So I say we're going to edit something. I think that was price. Price, let's use currency. Okay. So there's no one that is text. Sorry. Name is always text. Quantity is number. Total is currency. Price is currency. Discount is percentage. Okay, so what are we supposed to do? Update the total field of all product records that have a quantity greater than or equal to 10 and a discount greater than or equal to 5%. The total field should be updated as follows. So let's just first of all get all the products. So this is actually not a trigger. This one just wants a class that gets all the products records. Or I'll just allow you guys like speak. So we want to update the total field of all products records. Are we going to use a trigger or just a class? From idea.
Yes, I think we can use. Let me see that question again. Want to update the total fields of all product records that have a quantity greater than or equal to 10. We can use a trigger for this.
Yeah, I think this is a update. We can use trigger.
You sure?
Well, you're the boss, right? But for me, I'll make the mistake by using trigger.
Why are you admitting you're going to make a mistake?
Why I think we should use trigger is it's like setting a precondition that anything 10 greater than or equal to 10, we should update it. Although we can use class and set and use an if statement to do it. That also works.
Yeah, so it's both answers are using a trigger is valid, using a class is valid, but you want to actually understand what you want to do properly, okay? So the question doesn't say whenever a new record is created or any record entering the system. Okay, when it's any record, when there's a new record, you can actually do that. But so we want to update the total field of all product records. So these records are already in the Salesforce org. If you set a trigger, so let's say you have 100 records now. If you create a trigger and put your solution that is tested and working, the 100 records in our Salesforce org will not have this calculation added to their total field. Okay, so using a trigger is valid if you want to put this whole condition on subsequent records. But if there are records already in the system, in our case, there are no records, which I'm sure you guys, that was why you guys picked trigger. But if there are records, ideally, in fact, what the question is actually saying is there are actually records of all the records in the system. Okay, so we're just going to use a class. I actually wanted to write it in the debug console, but let's use a class. Promise Tony, I wasn't going to.
Sammy, before we use a class, can you write it on a pseudocode, just like pseudo, right? So that we understand our thought process on how to really go
about it,
right?
Yeah. So let me say we want to update the total field of all products.
Sorry, Sammy. So just to add, because of it's an update, I think update happens on only it happens only when there are fields available. So it's like So we cannot use it for something that doesn't have values in it.
By values, you mean the ID field or what?
Now it's a new we have a new stuff, but assuming it's existing Salesforce records, you get, that's when we can update. But based on what we are doing now,
I think the word updates actually mean that those records are already existing in
the
org. Yeah. So we're actually going to get records. So we're not creating a trigger on new records.
Okay.
So let's just go ahead. I'm going to just go down and create this. So let's see. So firstly, you're going to see this. Ideally, if I want to break this down, so we want to update the total feed of all product records that have. First of all, you've already seen all product records. So ideally, you should want to, before you actually carry out any operation here, you're going to have to get all of the products, okay?
Fetch products.
So you can either get or fetch. So let's use fetch. I like using caps lock for all this. Fetch all products, or let's use the word get.
Get all products.
Okay. So we want to update the total field of all product records that have a quantity greater than or equal to 10. Okay, so we can streamline or reduce the amount of our query by putting a condition. I'm sure you guys know where. So rather than get all products, where quantity is greater than, let me get the actual
greater than
figure.
equal to 10.
Okay, thank you. Greater than or equal to 10. Okay. So now we actually have only the records we need, but we've actually gotten our records, okay? And a discount, and a discount greater than or equal to 5. Another condition. So rather than writing, I'll just use the programming term and discount greater than or equal to 5%, okay? The total field should be updated as follows, okay? So ideally, best practice, right? I'm sure Tony must have told you, whenever you get a list or whenever you get records, always check if you actually have a response, okay? So you want to check size of list, okay? So this is going to return a list, so just check size of list, okay? So maybe check if it's greater than 0 or if it's null, because if you just try to operate on the list, whenever there's no record, your code might break, okay? So check size or check, let's just use check size
of list is fine.
List, okay? Then I've actually covered all this. The total feed should be updated as follows. So total equals to price times quantity times 1 minus discount. Okay, so this is actually a bit easy. So once you check size of list, right? I think we need to loop, okay? Get all records, check size of list. So if check size, now this is not actually how we're supposed to write it. So if what's it called? Is pseudocode is supposed to be like kind of explanatory, right? So if records, looking for the actual word, right? So if there are records, right? So if there are records in lists, okay? Okay, so then we do this. Well, I'm going to just quickly do an else statement, right? Else. And because I know we don't need to do anything if there's no record, right? But if there are records, we want to loop, right? Because you want to perform actions on each of the products. So I'm sure you know this is a list, right?
Yes.
So you want to loop through each product in the list, okay? So this will just kind of make it a bit more descriptive. So loop through each product in the list.
Then you can do the check size, list of size there.
No, we already checked. This is the check size.
Okay.
So if there are records in the list, I think I'll actually need to, let me just put size is greater than 0 here. So it will be descriptive. So this is where we are checking. You can't perform, you can't loop through an empty list. So this is where we are checking. So loop through each of the products in the list, then should be updated as follows. So I can just quickly jump into update total C field to, then there's a formula. I'll just copy the formula, but let me see if there's a step I need to take. To price times quantity. So if there are records, fine, loop through each of the records in each record. So I think it's just straightforward, right? They didn't ask us to do any of that. And they just want us to use this calculation to update this field. And again, this can be easily done with the formula fields, right? But we're here, we're writing Apex, so we just have to do it with Apex. I'm sure you guys know this can be easily done with Salesforce formula fields, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just go back, and so basically, right, if you give this to anyone, or if you're giving something like this, you should just be able to, oh, this is a problem. Ideally, this is how, probably this is how it's going to come. This whole question might just be on top of it, and the pseudocode will be below. Okay, so this is a bit self-descriptive, right? To get all the records, just do a check if there are records in the list. You create a loop through the records. Then when you loop for each record, update this field, the total C field, then just end. So I think we can have an end here, but it's not necessarily. Else, if there are no records, just end. We don't need to do anything, okay? So I can write, we can write it here. I don't want to create a class. We can just write it here, or we can create a class and call the class. Let me just write it here. I'll copy it and paste it in the class method. So I'm just going to say lists.
Can we attempt it? Let's tell you what to write. Let's give it a shot.
Okay, no problems. That's actually very good. Or do you want to take control of my screen?
Okay. No, let me just tell you what we should write.
You can take control.
Take control of my screen. Request.
Okay, hold on. Let me just okay. I'll do that right away. Okay, let me see. Request control. Where do I do that?
Have you seen it?
No.
If you look above your screen where you see summary share, there's a little green stuff. Or it should be, wait, let me see.
Okay, yeah, I can see it now. Request from
okay.
Okay. Have you given me control?
Yeah, you can type and go ahead.
List of good words. So I'll need to go to the org.
Yeah. No, the next tab. So just click on details. You see the name of the object. So see API name. That's what you need. You have to, what's okay. Let me see if your copy and paste will work.
It won't work. Okay, that's true.
Yeah, you have to actually right click.
Okay, please, can you collect the control back at least? Let me just save what we should do so that we'll be faster.
Okay. Let
me exit it and give up control.
That's actually one of the issues with this stuff. You have to right click and copy. So let's just someone was annotating the screen.
Yeah,
okay.
Can it be deleted, that stuff?
Trying. Let me see if I can remove it.
It shouldn't be about that if it's taking time.
Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead. So,
okay.
Lists. Let me just.
Okay. Then give it a variable equal to new lists in bracket and put the prod.
No. I can just run my select. Don't mind me.
I think I'm the one that is supposed to tell you what to write.
Okay, sorry. I've actually forgot. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you for the expo because yes, I remember we can do that. So the square brackets.
Okay.
Then select.
Okay.
Upload document system star.
Star? Do you think you can do star? Can you use star?
Can I do star?
No, you can't use
That's
star.
why I said
I'm not sure.
the easy way.
What was the easy way?
We would always use a query, this SOQ, so we cannot escape it, even if we're using the easy way. Okay, so remove the star, then we can just select, where is it? Products, get all products in the system where quantity is. So select products. Right, you can type product.
Product?
I think.
No, not this product too. Yeah.
Yeah, prod _ C and space where we need to get quantity API name. Where quantity is greater than equal to, we can type it directly like that.
You sure?
Yes, we can type it like that.
Okay.
Then and discount. Let's go and get the discount API. How this works. Okay. Is less than equal to 5.
Is it less than? Let me see.
Is it?
It's greater than or equal to.
Oh, sorry, greater than or equal to. Okay. Greater than
or equal to 5. Okay. Should we go ahead or you want to test
close
this?
it? Yeah, please, let's test this.
So I'll just do system.debug.
To be sure first.
Don't worry, it's going to break. I already know it's going to break. This is actually nice. So system.debug all products, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Line 37, column 5, unexpected token. This is line 37.
It's not putting it in a list.
So what do you think is the problem? I think, is it Michael that is speaking? Michael, what do you think is the problem?
No, it's Afam that
is Afam that is speaking.
I know.
You recommended.
Why are you shifting it to Afam? Okay, Afam Michael, what do you think the problem is? Let me run it again so you see the error.
Unexpected token, there's product _C. It has not created, it has not instantiated that product. So I think we need to instantiate it. Like Michael rightly said.
I know the problem. The problem is we don't even have any record there in the beginning for it to query anything.
If we don't have a record, it will return null or it will return empty.
That's true.
So let's
instantiate that products, products. List product equals to new product. Like put that better. Let's instantiate it first. New list into product. Yeah. Okay, then the next thing to do, all products equal to.
I'm actually already doing.
Is actually the same. Okay.
So I should run it now.
It will still fail.
Why? So line 37 column 10 unexpected column equal to.
Oh yeah, right. So that greater than or equal to is not correct.
You sure? Wait, let me see the error again. I'm not sure it's from there yet. I know it's not correct, but I'm not sure it's from there. Line 37 column 13 unexpected token equal to.
Okay, is this first assignment? Wow.
So I think these brackets, no, they're supposed to be there. So Michael, what's the problem? Are you trying to check Google? Don't check Google.
No, it's true. Maybe we check ChatGPT, not Google. That will give you the correct answer.
But how you guys using that ChatGPT? Is it not only 5 that you can query? You mean it's supposed to be paid for? So do you pay for it or what?
People pay for it, right? It's actually very, very helpful if you like
$20, 20 Canadian dollars.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It's actually worth it if you actually use it to work. It's actually worth it. Okay. Let me see. So let's try to solve this. Okay, I have to plug my system.
I think you need to help out.
Let's solve it your way. Let's solve it your way.
Let's be my way. Let me see. So let me see why it's breaking. Equal sign. Why is it saying the equal sign is bad? So I'm going to comment this out. First of all, the whole query is wrong. Let's just say something. The whole query is wrong. The double and sign, the greater than or equals to, and let me just see.
That one should be good.
Yeah. So that one is good. So I think the issue now is, let's do it again. So this is the variable, then all product equals to select ID.
Oh, okay. No.
Then if you look closely, you're going to work with total. So you need total. You're going to work with price. You need price. And you are using quantity in your where. You need to pull it. If not, you have an error. You're using discounts in your where. You need to bring it. If not, you have an error. So we haven't gotten there. Then total price, quantity, we have that. Then instead of just prod C, you do not add from. So can you see the SOQL now? Select ID, select all these fields from these objects where this.
This is where the code is important.
Okay. So greater than or equals to, then this is like an actual operator, maybe Apex operator, JavaScript operator. In query is and. Yeah, you can use capital letter or small letter, whichever one. But it's always advisable to use capital letters. Okay, so and this count is greater than or equal to 15. Okay, it's actually supposed to run now, but I think there's another issue. Let's just run it and see.
No issue.
Oh,
no issue.
So we have is empty because we don't have records, like Michael said initially. So the issue with the query was.
I have a question, Sammy.
Okay.
This is Toby. So is it that the initial error that was saying line 37 column 13, it was just because of the way we wrote the SOQL?
Yes, it was because of the query. The query was wrong. So there was okay. There was no first of all, the main issue was there was no from. If I take out all this stuff now, it's still going to work. Or first of all, it might not work now because we're trying to use quantity. There was actually a lot of things wrong with it. So if let's try to run this now. I'm going to Control Z and do all those stuff. Oh, it actually worked. Okay, it actually worked. But the major issue was the query he wrote didn't have it from. So let me just Control Z and show us what he wrote. Or rather, what we supported AFAM to write.
I actually I'm learning from it.
Michael was giving moral support. I'm just confusing. So this is not like a valid SOQL. So you just say select the object. There's supposed to be a from keyword here, where this operator is valid, but this is like a comparison operator. You don't use it here. You're supposed to use and.
And that's true.
Okay, so those were the issues.
Okay.
Oh, I can't go forward again. Let me just paste. I copied it. Okay, so I have select ID from prod C where quantity is greater than 10 and discount is greater than or equals to 5. Okay, so kudos. AFAM give us the template, but this is just like getting only the ID. Okay, so we need to get total.
So let me get the size. Okay, we can get the size in the loop when we're doing the loop.
Yeah.
So let's do the
I'm going to allow you continue. Let me just get the records again.
Okay.
And discounts.
Sammy, it's very important that we definitely include the price, quantity, and discounts. Otherwise, it will not pull out the query. Mean that from the where quantity is, it will not work if you don't include it in the select, right?
No, the quantity, I think I just did it now, right? So the where quantity and discount works even when I did not include discount and quantity. It's going to work. But the problem is when we get to this part of our program where we need to use quantity and discounts, we will not be able to use. It's going to throw us an error.
We will not be able to because you pull it from the query.
Yeah. Then Afan forgot to pull ID. You need ID because we want to update. Okay. So if you remember, you need ID to update.
I think ID always come. You must always just use that ID, even though by default.
Yes. If you want, if you're not using it for anything and you don't want to pull it, it's fine. You don't need to pull it, but most times it's just always good to pull it to just verify. Okay, so let's just test before we go forward, right? So I'm just going to create a product or a prod or whatever we call our objects. Oh, don't tell me I need to add tabs.
Yes, you will need to do add tabs.
What I need is still showing.
I think it's only the host that can take it off. So if we try to run our query now,
we should get something.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, wow. Okay, so there are two conditions. So where quantity is greater than 10 and this quantity is greater than 5. So our quantity is 5, so it won't work. So you see the reason of the filter, save. So if we run again, we should have records now. Okay, so we are back in business. So Afam, you can go ahead now.
So just to add to this, I noticed if we go to, let's go to our scratch pad. Yeah. So that after select ID, that total C, price C, quantity C, those are what we wanted to return to us in the system to debug, right? Understand it correctly, right?
Yeah, so this is just like these are the fields. You're saying select this field. Okay. And this field and this field and this field. So it's going to bring out all these fields. If you don't add them, excuse me, it's not going to work. It's not going to bring them out.
Return the fields. Okay, that's fine. So let's continue.
Do you want to continue?
Yes, please. I want to.
You can tell me what to type.
Yes. So the next thing, we're going to use a loop, a for loop.
You're missing one step.
Let me see if there are records in the list. Okay, we are going to use an if statement because we're going to do something when if all products dot size
like this.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, I'm not done. Is greater than 0. Oh, and then like column open, yeah. Then let's go outside the curly brackets so that we can put the end there.
Okay, else, right?
Yeah, the else.
I don't think you actually.
Okay, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that.
So you don't need
We really don't need that. So
just
back
that
inside the if statement. So we now do the for loop.
Okay, so for
then we have let me see. For n integer, I want to loop through now. N, okay, comma, equals to 0.
I was
Sorry.
too fast.
Equals to 0. Then put the semicolon.
Yeah.
And then hold on. As long as n is less than all products of size here.
Like this?
Yes. Then put the semicolon. Then n plus plus.
Okay.
Then go outside the bracket and put your curly brackets. Okay. The next thing we want to do is we want to update.
Don't you want to test that your code is getting here first?
Good question.
Okay. Yeah. System.debug. System.
Don't want to go back.
Yeah,
in real life, you're going to be super frustrated.
You don't want to go back.
So you're not supposed to actually. It's all called like it's not even actually test driven development, right? So if you write, just try to test like maybe
system.debug put get here.
Yeah.
Something like that.
System.debug. Just see if you're getting data, right? So
get here.
This is the product.
Okay. So let's test this.
N, okay?
Yeah.
Final answer.
Wait, hold on. Let me just go through this stuff again.
No, don't worry. Don't mind me.
Okay.
Michael, should we run? Is there anything wrong with this code, Michael?
Yeah. Should.
There's something wrong with the code.
There's something wrong. Should throw it wrong.
Okay, where we literally the error?
No, let's run it so you see.
Background. Let me see. Variable does not exist. Size. Oh, really?
Can you see the error?
I've seen it.
What is the error?
There's nothing like dot size.
Why? Why do you think so? Michael, is there anything like dot size? Okay.
There's something like dot size, but in this case, I think it's not appropriate in this case.
Okay, so what you guys should have at the back of your mind, right? So there are classes. I know you must have talked about this, and methods, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So classes are the lists, maybe you create a custom class, the integer, the string. So whenever you do string dots, or let me do lists prod dots. Oh, I can't do that. Or let me just do string dot something. There are many string methods capitalized. Did you notice something? There's always a curly braces after it. Okay, so every method or every function always has open. So these are all called function invocation. So if you just have this at the back of your head, you know whenever you're calling a dot on something. So if you remember, if this
please put the brackets there.
Yeah, so if this was a new list, you do all products add, then a bracket.
A bracket in it, yeah.
Yeah. So when you're calling a method, always remember to add the brackets.
The brackets.
Then I think you did it here again, the brackets. Yes. Okay. So.
If I was writing inside the class, it would have just helped me. What the problem?
It's even easier with VS Code, but I'm not. You guys must have gotten there also.
Like you rightly say, let's have muscle memory on this.
Yeah. So your code ran. Let's see if you got to your. So this is the product N, or I actually console logged the wrong thing. Yeah, interesting. This is good. Yeah, okay. I like what just happened. So it console log 0. So how are we going to get access to our variable?
Great. So let me, my thought process is this to get access to
current products record. Okay, so Michael, from how are we going to get access to the current products? Where's the current products? This is a loop. And what I just did now, this n is 0, as you can see. Let me show you again.
Yeah.
The n we consoled was 0. So see, this is the product 0. So how do we get access to our products? Or you guys should just go ahead.
So that n is our index. Cool. Is actually our index. So it's the position of each of the records we have that is returned from our product. So if we want to get access to the current product, we are going to make it dynamic in the sense that we'll put that product.size, something like that. Then it will be in a column, a square bracket, then n will be there in the bracket.
Okay, I understand this. So you want something like this, but you have to save it in a variable.
Exactly. So what do we want to get? That's the first question. We want to get
the
access
to
product record. Let me see. So we'll do product equal to then new. Sorry, hold on.
Sure.
Hold on. Product equal to all products.
Good.
Dot gets.
No, index. You said it before. N.
Right. Oh, no, it's Java that is on my head. Okay, yeah. N. So this what?
It's just going to get the particular product.
To get this particular product. So if there are 3 products.
Yeah, as the key highlighted, it should work.
Okay, great. Yeah, nice. We're moving.
So now we need to move it to the next step, okay? We've gone past loop. What else? So I think this is a bit easy. The last thing is just to run this calculation. So what should I do?
So we're going to get the total, update total field to whatever. So what we'll do is product.total. There's something like that. Wait, we are going to use now this is the challenge. Now, Mike, I only help you. How do we reference the total from product? Because now we've gotten the product. How do we reference? Are we going to use the API like total _ C? You get what I'm trying to do?
Yes.
Michael has built on you.
No.
It's supposed to be my funny friend.
Don't be an Elijah. Those guys, they are just quiet. Maybe we'll throw it and make it.
We are the audience.
There's something like ask the audience to that year, but no problem. So, Sammy, let's get back to it. So for the product, the total, we need to put in this formula. So how do
you always have to use the API
API name, please?
Yeah, you always have to use the API
so the total does equal to
I don't even know why I did this. This question is very descriptive. I would have used English to
write it. So equals to product.price underscore. So no, product.price. You can't write it like that. You have to use the dot.
I wanted to trick you, don't worry.
We know what we are doing, Michael, right?
Oh, obviously, we know what we're doing.
Okay.
Times product.quantity underscore C. Okay, times just 1 minus.
I think 1 minus, yeah.
Product.discount. Divided by 100. So close it with our semicolon. So now wait, there is something we need to be sure of here. So that is the formula field. Does this apply to, anything we put there actually updates the product. So the next thing is to update. So we'll now come out of the loop and write updates product. Abby? Yeah, update products.
Update products.
Yes.
I think we actually... Okay, so don't worry. Let me just keep quiet. I'm going to refactor the code. So where should I come after this place here?
This one is tricky. Let me see.
Should we not test that one if it will work first?
Okay.
Yeah, so let's just test it.
Thank you. Let's test.
Yeah, but it should, except...
It should work.
Okay.
But want to see if the calculation worked. So total equals 900.
Hey,
what do we put?
Yeah.
What do we put total? Total was 200. So let's see the formula again. It worked actually.
Yeah.
Nice one.
So price times product. I actually don't have strength to
because you just state the formula. That was
the mistake.
That would have been Edric again.
That was the mistake. I'll try. I'll do better next time.
Thank you for giving us expo. So the next thing to do is for us to commit this into the database. So we'll do that update. We have to update it. So
update
online what? Where will I put the update?
Yeah, so now we have to be careful with this. It will be 48 outside the for loop.
You're sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Hope you know outside the for loop, we've lost this product variable.
Let me see.
The product variable is inside the for loop.
Because we want to update it, assuming there are so many, it should keep updating and going back. Please, it will be inside the for loop. So after line 46, press enter and let's do the update there. Yes.
Okay.
Update products. Yes.
Should we run?
Yes, please run.
Mike, final answer. Toby, final answer.
Hope we're not missing out anything.
Final answer, go in. Okay.
Let's go to the front end and check.
So let's refresh this. The price total is supposed to change to 900.
So thank you very much, guys. Nice doing business with you.
Hold on. Hold on. It actually works, right?
Yes.
But there's a but. Okay,
please tell us.
At least it works.
It actually
Who to the answer?
It actually worked. It's good it worked, and I'm very happy with it, but there's a but, okay?
Okay.
So I'm very sure there's no way Tony might have missed this, right? What I want to correct, he must have talked about it. Never run an update or never run a DML statement.
I said 48.
Never run. You deceived me.
I was being directed now, so you guys were directing me, right?
That's true.
Because at the end of the day, you go to if the record are much, then we just
if it's 1 million
records, we'll go out of the governor limit.
Governor limit. So always have it at the back of your mind.
We know this
best practice.
And again, so let's just address this one after the other. I'm going to give you another best practice. Okay. So ideally, I saw it later, but I didn't want to speak. Okay. So we are supposed to have a step, right? So create a list of records. Okay. Then here, just set the total to this formula. Then updated records.
Okay.
Updated records list. Okay. So what we should have had is if inside this if statement we'll have a list, or I can just say products to update.
Okay.
Okay, so here whenever I am done with this calculation, I'll just add it to that list. Okay. Products to update.
Dot add.
Yeah. Products.
Yeah. To keep.
Okay. Then I'll take this guy outside the loop and just do update products to update. Okay. So again, the previous method worked, but like you said, it's not best practice, and it's going to, if there are multiple records, it's going to like wear out your governor limit and your code will break. Then, though, since we're talking about best practice, always put your DML statements in try and catch
so that okay.
DML exception. Okay.
I was thinking we could put the whole for loop and everything in the try block. Is it just okay to put only the updates?
You can, but most times that's once written with Salesforce or like strongly typed language, right? It's going to evaluate or how do they call this stuff? If there's an error, it will just let you know. Try catch just helps you catch an error that occurs in the future. So if there's an error here, if I put this here on runtime or when Salesforce is compiling this, it's not even going to save the code. It's going to tell you there's an error.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I make a mistake or if maybe our update doesn't work, it's going to break our code later when you run. So you can put all of them, but most times once your code saves, then there's no issue with your code.
Okay.
So I was trying to do something. Yeah. So products to update. So this is going to work. I don't even need to test it. It's the same thing you did the previous time, but we're just trying to use best practice. Then one last thing, okay? So if you're writing for loops and it's Salesforce defaults or a Salesforce, mostly Salesforce default object, right? So just utilize Salesforce inbuilt for loops, okay? So you could have just done for prod.
Okay.
C,
enhance
product. Yeah, enhance for loop in all products, okay? So this just helps you. We could have, I don't even want to go through into all that because we were just trying to solve a simple problem. So no need for all of this, okay? So this is fine. So let me run this again.
This is first principle, don't mind us.
Yeah, this is actually first. If it works, then you start refactoring.
Yeah.
So let me change this to 10 again. If you run this, is obviously you're definitely going to run. Okay, so price total 900. If we refresh this, yeah, it's going to be 900. So it works fine and perfectly well. Okay, so again, this is just how to, and you just expected to be doing this. Maybe if you don't have time to do it daily, just create out time to solve stuff like this. Okay, so it's easy. Let me not say it's easy, right? It's nice to just be watching Tony do it on the class. If you don't actually, I would have actually loved Afam to use my screen. So if you don't actually type it, it's not going to be part of you. Okay, I do this stuff like, let me not say almost every day or like 2 days in a day actually, right? So it's a bit difficult for me to just forget this stuff. I can forget syntax because I jump from language to language, but I will never ever forget the concept. Okay, so what you can be doing, right? Just maybe take out time from like time to time, be 30 minutes, just try to write. You can use Trailhead or something, just try to write some code or solve some problems, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we can just way past it. I think we can end here. You can see ask like if you still want to reach out to me. Yeah. I actually like developers, but you could just let me know. Maybe if you want to meet with your group, that's fine. I have no issues with that.
Sure. We'll definitely reach out when we are stuck on something.
Okay.
And
okay.
Afam, you can also send like all these little stuff, you can send it to the group too, so that we can work on it too. And if we have to, we can also send, so that we can be doing it as Samuel advised every day. Otherwise, trust me, if you don't do it, it will become everything.
We listened and
it become new again in 2 weeks' time.
True.
Yeah. It will look like a fresh topic in a few weeks' time.
So before look at Samuel is expert and he's doing it almost.
I'm not an expert yet. Please.
Oh, it's good.
Okay.
So, yeah, we need to be doing more, right? So we can say every day, something creative as a developer, like Tony said, that we're supposed to be used to some certain things by now, right? Don't really have time. We don't want to learn on the job. They are doing.
Okay. Yeah. So Afma, you can stop recording. I think we're done with the class. So